Welcome to the very final analyst task for the time being in LCK.
뱀픽 같은 경우는 그리핀이 조금
So,
유리하게
speaking
시작을
up
했습니다.
to
KT
draft,
같은 경우는
Griffin
무조건
had a
세나를
very
가져가겠다는
favoring
밴을
comp.
하였고 특히
KT
바로스를
focused
배나면서
on
손흥민 선수가
Senna,
아쉬운
so
세나를
they
보여줬고,
banned out around that
세나
champ,
탐켄치에 대한
banning
강함을
out
보여줬고,
Kalista and
그리핀은
Varus,
세나 주고도
showing a
일본이
really
이겼는데
strong
이제
will to
밴드
take that
탑
Senna and Tom
보통
Kench.
카르마를 뽑으면서
So
굉장히 세게
Griffin
가져갔고, 하지만
went with
KT는 우리는
Sats
틀리지
and also
않았다가
Karma
우리는
to
틀렸다.
go
하지만
strong
배웠다.
against KT
그래서
Rolster.
미드 정글을 굉장히 맞춰줍니다. 전판과는 달리.
So, compared to the game number one,
임프루빙을 하고 있잖아요.
they are really improving. They're going for a very rounded up comp overall. They focused on, KT focused on their jungle, so they went with Cannon and Nautilus to kind of support Bono in jungle. Griffin, they have a huge faith in sets, especially on sword. And also, they really prefer Karma a lot. Well, Karma, it had a really good game in game number one, but game two, Karma did not do any work. But game actually was decided in that fight that happened in mid lane. Bono cleared out in ward. And this is the point where Griffin started to lose their game. This was the point where Renekton became like nobody in this game. With that ward coming from Olaf, Griffin lost all the vision in that jungle, and KT had so many vision around blue buff. So there was no information for Yukal that there was a control ward right next to the mid lane turret, so he had to just fall down to Kuro and Bono, and that's from Renekton kind of neutralized his power all throughout the game. He did ping down onto enemy missing in that jungle. However, he did not really have the precise information whether the opponents will be, so this can be a really small mistake. However, this small decision-making mistake ended up snowballing throughout the game. But the game was not really clean on the side of KT as well. After that Dragon Soul, KT should have to be in a very huge lead, but the game was really neck and neck. However, Kuro managed to kind of play with that aggro really well. Well, this was the point where Griffin had a very favoring team fight position. However, Tom Kench is so OP. He just played 4v2 by himself, and that's why KT really kind of insisted to take that Senna and Tom Kench comp. Even though it was a 50-50 chance, Bono was really aggressive and proactive to kind of holding to that Baron taking down, and then they turned around to Griffin players. So both teams have to come back with cleaner performance and strategy for game number 3 to get that last win in LCK for the time being. So let's check out the POG in game number 2.
확실하게 차이가 났던 라인이 하나가 있기 때문에 그 선수가 나오지 않을까. 개인적으로는
Kuro in mid lane playing Nautilus because he had a huge gap up against Yukal in mid lane. 400 points so far, which is proving that he is carrying KT Rolster. He is doing so many work as the captain of his team as well.
구로 선수의 이제 시그니처 픽이라고 하면
Kuro's signature pick would be
푸지르는 아니고 쿠토르, 쿠블랑
Victor. Well, not Azir to be honest, but now Ornn and Nautilus, some of the melee and initiative champions, are also becoming one of his signature picks. Kuro has a very wide champion pool, and every time he plays Nautilus in mid lane, KT is getting more space to play in their comfort zone. Yukal these days is very underperforming, so even though he had Pantheon in game number 1, he was not outperforming, to be honest. But Viper kind of played really well. That enabled Griffin to go forward really hard. But this time around, his Renekton performance was not really well. And last time as well, when he was playing Kiana, the melee AD champion, he also had a very disappointing performance. So maybe melee AD champion is not a pick for Yuka. I hope he does his best. That's a word from Lyra. Because in game number 1, well, they knew how to answer to Senna Tompkins. However, it was not Yuka that was able to kind of give more cards up against Senna. But Mina wants to give an advice that everybody has up and down, so he will have the time to bounce back. So let's check out game number 3, KT versus Griffin.
Thank you, G-Sun, once again for the great translation of the analyst desk, as there was one unfortunate member of the Korean cast that did vote for the jungle. I was considering it too. I'm sure a lot of people were, but Kuro had the slight edge there, picks up the player of the game, and now it all comes down to this for the final game of the day. It is going to be the decider map between Griffin and KT.
Well, let's see what the pick ban is going to have in store for us. The ban pick ban pick.
Pick ban pick.
The ban pick ban pick is the order.
Ban pick. Well, no, it's ban 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 ban, and then it's pick.
I didn't
Pick,
watch the
pick.
Flintstones as a child, Valdez. Not into Bam Bam or whatever it was that you were just trying to say. As Ornn and Aphelios.
I tried to write down Ornn on my paper. I wrote 3 N's. Ornn.
You like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe the Morellos got to my head a little bit. We have the same bans here on the blue side out of Griffin. KT going to mix it up a bit. They banned Zoe as the 3rd ban in game 1. This time they're going to ban Set, as they want to see Sword on something else.
This is it, by the way, Valdez. For all the marbles, the last game, the last ban pick,
Ever.
the last first pick.
Oh! Who's going to get the last laugh last? What was that? That was...
Who's going to laugh last, yeah.
Who's going to have the last laugh last? I think that's what it was.
Well, Senna.
Who's going to have that last laugh?
The last first pick is going to be Senna. This is the last Senna.
LS.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had to weave that in there.
You got there.
Yeah.
It's the last set. Not literally set, of course. As KT are going to buy into the idea that Senna Tahm Kench is the OP duo, rather than just Senna, fasting Senna being the OP pick. And so they will pick away the Tahm Kench. And this is kind of where we get excited about Griffin potentially punishing this.
Do you notice something? I'm gonna wait until the end of the draft, but when I point it out, it's gonna be like a revelation for you. As Lee Sin, yeah, much like you, he's not seeing it either.
He can't see anything. That's
he uses echolocation. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I evolved that far. Didn't quite get that far. Yeah, but Lee Sin is gonna come out here. We did see Bono on the Olaf and the Elise. So a 3rd unique pick for him.
We got a whole bunch of Sin in this game as Elise now picked up.
The last
with
Sinner.
Ezreal. And so we're not actually going to have fasting Senna, and this is so bizarre
Well, let's
to see, especially because Viper, it is Ezreal. It was a bit of a performance. It was something.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe they were hovering it for mind games about, aiming and his Ezreal. And that could be another point that we can talk about. Maybe they want to deny it away from aiming, whilst also getting it for their bottom lane.
And so now Varus Tahm Kench is being hovered. Varus able to also go mid lane, and remember, he has multiple modes. You can have the attack speed Varus, you can have the Comet Varus, you can have the lethal tempo lethality Varus.
Whoa.
You can have it your way. As we are now in...
Isn't that Burger King?
I'm loving it. But second ban phase is underway now. Pantheon gonna end up biting the dust. They take that away against the Elise. As Griffin now, they need to decide what they want to ban away, but mid and top pools are still just so wide open. They're probably gonna end up banning generic dual flex picks, so Rumble gets banned away. They need a champion. They need to ban away a champion that can actually threaten the long range on Griffin. Maybe they actually do just ban Azir. As weird as that is.
That is weird.
Zoe is another potential ban.
Yeah, and they banned it before. But you know who really made
they
waves?
They would like Zoe. If you're Griffin, you're the ones that actually want to get your hands on Zoe. So the Nautilus ban is maybe a protection against that. Chains of Corruption plus Nautilus lockdown. Oh man, we're all sinning. There's a lot of sinners.
You know that show Real Monsters? It's like trucks.
Oh, you meant on 4? He was about to be locked in.
What? You lost me there. Kennen 10-3. He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, they didn't end up locking in, and instead chose to go with the Kennen. And Maokai being hovered yet again. I don't know if we'll end up seeing him. Now, there is a...
Yes!
Okay, so there's a Maokai player on Korea that ever since the changes has really skyrocketed in LP.
Wow.
And he's a one trick. I think he's
it's
a
weird
streamer.
Because I feel like Maokai would normally be very
Maokai
very
is
rooted.
very strong.
Very
rooted? Okay.
Because you said skyrocketing, so you know. He's a tree, get it? He's got roots.
Well, I said skyrocketing because I was just trying to show you the Azir pick coming in.
Okay.
You know? Now, they have the perfect polarity here in their team composition. They have the roots from Maokai, and they have the sky from Azir. All right.
And we have...
In Vel'Koz,
science.
We have a lot of purple. And take a look at KT's team composition right now on your screen.
That's some really hard-hitting
What do you
analysis.
notice? What do you
we
notice?
got a lot of purple, guys. Oh. This is it's a big deal here. Lots of purple.
With all of the knowledge that Vel'Koz has, okay, he sought out Varus, who told him to seek the rat Kennen, okay, who then brought them to the blind monk, who then led them to the oversized catfish. Now take a look at Tom Kench's splash art.
Yeah, yeah.
They're going to the ship.
They're going to the ship. It's all coming together now in the last game. I think you found all the pieces.
And that is why the Blitzcrank, I hope I just pronounced that right, is present on the side of Griffin, so they can control both the ground and the skies as they try to stop the ship from departing here.
They don't have control of the seas, so they got to take everything else, right?
That's what they need. That's the one thing they're missing.
I think you might be onto something here. Let's hope you can hop onto that last ship and get out of here real quick after that.
It's going to be really interesting. Kennen, Elise, Vel'Koz in all his glory, Varus, and Sir Thomas at the very end. I'm imagining that's going to be the lethal, or it's going to be the lethality Varus, and this is going to be a very heavy poke comp.
Looking forward to it. Big fan of the big numbers we saw from that game number 1 as Maokai is going to make his way.
And that reminds me that Travis still not letting Kobe have the cat. Okay, I see that you're not up to date with the Twitter lingo, and I apologize for thinking that you were a bit younger than you were, maybe.
No,
But
no, but actually,
you can use Twitter on your phone.
You know what's interesting? trying to deflect the attention away from that, is that I feel like Twitter is like it's like a boomer thing. You know what I mean?
What?
Like boomers use Twitter, and then all the Zoomers, they use like Instagram and TikTok.
This is gonna be glacial augment. Oh god. I actually just started using Instagram recently.
You just started, huh?
I actually
You're a little behind the 8 ball there.
I really.
You gotta be careful. I mean, you never know when somebody's gonna throw that B word out
Yeah.
at you if you're saying stuff like that. What about TikTok?
TikTok, I don't use that. That's where
Yeah,
Weird
okay.
Champ resides,
Okay.
most likely.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Weird Champ is like the only cast that has that?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably for good reason.
The only one that advertises it, at least.
And in this game, the Vel'Koz, he is going glacial, and he'll have the glacial augment, or he'll have all of the glacial items most likely. So we'll see that the GLP 800, we'll see the Twin Shadows, and then we'll probably see Vel'Koz rounding it out, depending on what the enemy builds with some other items. Bono, he's sinning right now.
Ooh, he actually got that slowdown.
Yeah, he got the heal out, and okay, well, now, he's respecting that Elise could actually be at the brush, and that's why you don't see Bono pursue, even with the red buff, doesn't want to just get cocooned and then waste the flash, although I think there's an argument to actually be had that UCal doesn't have teleport available, and as long as he wouldn't end up dying, because Yucal's only level 1, so Elise wouldn't be able to kill Lee Sin through his potions, most likely. Maybe there's an actual thing to look at there where he should just chase.
I mean, Elise at level 2, right? I mean, he's not going to be level 3 until he picks up that second buff, which he wouldn't have at that timing. So can a level 2 Elise actually kill you? I think the answer is absolutely no. It's an interesting idea where tiny little edges can be won or lost in this game of League of Legends. It's been 693 days since the last time we saw Maokai. It was Keen in a loss against Khan.
Yeah.
In the spring finals of 2018.
Well, Maokai is very strong with the Bomby Cinder changes. Once he gets the Sunfire Cape, it is pretty scary, but I mean, he's been good since before then, and he's such a great pick at getting onto the cannon and the Vel'Koz here. Obviously, Sir Thomas going to be able to eat up whoever he does try to eat. Now, one of the really cool things here, though, is you'll notice that much like in game number 1, what is Elise's purpose here? What's she trying to do? You don't know?
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm thinking about it.
I don't think anyone knows what she's trying to do in this team comp.
I thought for a while, and I couldn't really think of anything. She can pick. She has a cocoon. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of games where Elises get behind, we see a lot of, well, yeah, this is just a rainbow kitty cat in the brush. But we see a lot of Elises behind be described as just a cocoon.
Yeah, that's all that she is.
But even
there's
in
so
this
many
case,
better
she's not behind.
champions. And
but she's already...
No, she is behind. Because she's not ahead, she's behind.
Yeah.
And the champion's going to end up being relegated to essentially only casting cocoons, and then she's not going to deal any damage because, of course, opponents are going to have magic resistances at later stages in the game. Of course you will against Ezreal, Azir, Elise, Maokai. You'd be a complete fool not to. And given the long range on all of KT, it's even harder for Elise, and if she does end up going in, she's not going to do anything. Double control ward picked up, as realistically, she's only going to be a ward bot. Let me take a look at the draft, actually. She came in really early on again, and it just doesn't make any sense. The enemy already had Tahm Kench, and they had Elise in, so the cocoon already has less value. And you don't know what else the opponent's going to draft around. And it's very easy for them to draft in a way that would make Elise very vulnerable. But then when you pair it with the Maokai as well as the Azir, it just ends up being a question of what are you really doing? We saw this in Game 1. We're seeing it again here in Game 3. It's always a pleasure to watch the Elise be completely useless.
You know what I think is a likely early item in this game for the Elise? Morello. Even though they will be building a lot of magic resist on the side of KT. Already Merc Treads completed here for the cannon up in the top side. No doubt Tucson's going to have a bit. There are 3 squishies there towards the middle with the Vel'Koz, the Varus, and the Lee Sin. But if Eamon can keep them at range, kind of like how Viper did in Game 1, with his immense poke with the lethality, it'll be hard to see Elise really even getting in range to land the Cocoon onto one of those squishies.
And we already have MR coming out on so
yeah.
The value inside of ganks, even though Maokai has beautiful gank setup, with the twisting advance into the sapling toss, as well as the knockback, which name I am blundering on. Do you know?
Knockback.
The knockback. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So, with all of that,
It's the official name.
it really is pretty easy to set things up, but gonna definitely be difficult here. Tarzan just continuing to permafarm endlessly.
He's got to scale up to his Morellonomicon first. You know he's going to be building that. We'll see, though, as, yeah, it's all just farming in the mid lane and in the jungle and in the top and bottom lanes. All the lanes coming together. One big farming family. No real plays have been made just yet. I suppose Bono went for a very early Infernal Drake, which was nice for him to pick up.
This is all winning for KT. They got an Infernal Dragon early. It looks like they're going to get an Ocean Dragon. And the only thing that you can hope for at that point is that...
Oh, trying to bait him in here. Sword is going to have to flash away. We'll get to safety with that flash. So Bono not able to make that gank happen.
And now we can even see that it's just so hard to move Maokai. Sword's actually going to be ahead in CS if he manages to get all of this. Bono now starting up the Rift Herald. Scuttle Crab eating some fruit, actually. Just taking a little... Okay.
He disappeared there for a second. Maybe we were on red vision.
And this is really scary. Tushin, though, rotating up. There is...
Okay.
The root?
Yeah,
What is Sword? Sword? I don't think Vel'Koz wanted to download whatever it was that Sword was just dishing
Just
out.
downloaded the virus, man. You got to be careful about that. That's pretty unfortunate. And we've seen that many times before where Sword kind of goes in alone and looks a bit disconnected from his team. And after his last performance, honestly, he was like the carrying the last time they were playing, or he was at least the better performing player out of the team, even though they did get 0-2. But from today, once again, it feels like he's returned to some of his old techniques, which have not been super successful, as we'll see it again here. He's on vision.
So he sees everything that's going on. He voluntarily twisting advanced in, and this is actually one of the strengths of Vel'Koz and all of his intellect as a champion, able to telepathically mind control the Maokai, who is just simply a tree born to life, into twisting advancing on right there. And so honestly, a fantastic job out of Kuro with that telepathy.
These players are more powerful than you know. And, yeah, I mean, that's going to net a kill for Kuro, who, by the way, his stats were pretty impressive on the Vel'Koz, 6-2, 13.4 KDA. The guy knows what he's doing on this champion. It's not just a random pick that they threw out here to add some poke or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see if he can bring this early lead into something more here in this game. He's already moved quite far ahead, about 20 CS. After the Azir gets to the mid lane, ahead of the Azir.
And, you know, on the upside, though, Sword is doing a really good job, at least in the CS department, against Soan up here. That cat looks so cool, by the way, in the brush.
Yeah, it's a powerful cat.
It looks like a holographic Pokemon card or something.
Yeah, it kind of does. Like a...
like a Mew.
Kind of like a Mew, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Meow.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He missed the cannon to go for that trade. It's unfortunate.
Yep.
We lost our cat too. She saw that and then she decided, well, I've had enough. Don't want to get too toxic, but you know, it's been a couple of interesting decisions so far. As the poke already coming out here from Kuro, and they're looking to rotate over to the Ocean Drake. As TP available on Soan, not so much for the side of Maokai.
Yeah, and Sword with another trade onto Soan. He's still ahead in XP, by the way. He's like level 9.2? 9.25 maybe? And Soan's still stuck at level 8, so definitely a bit surprising. Soan did just ding level 9 though, so Sword is, I would say almost maybe what, 0.4, 0.5 levels ahead. Very surprising. More magic resistance coming out for Sword on the Maokai. So it will be a while until he ends up getting... Oh, man.
Nice play out of Bono. Made it look really smooth, too. Ward hop into flash behind and kick. I don't know if he was actually in range for the kick flash. I'll have to see the play once again. But either way, extremely clean out of Bono making this Lee Sin. Looked like not much of a sinner, more of like a Lee song here.
Yeah.
Singing us a nice little song. Yeah, Lee Saint.
Lee Saint.
Still LS.
Le saved. Le salvation is going on.
Last
I think that's
savior.
actually where the ship brings you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. You might be right, but nobody really knows where the ship brings you. There's no solid evidence, so I don't want to space it off a fate.
They actually made a television series about the ship.
Yeah.
It's called Lost. You never really quite know where you're going on that one. Is KT is
How did he know he was exactly there?
Another Ocean Dragon, and they're just so far ahead right now. It's almost a 4,000 gold lead for KT. Better team composition, vision restriction due to the Umbral Glaive first.
Yeah, it was
really
kick
nice.
Flash, or no, flash kick.
Nice. Marong even looking happy in the back. Had his coat on. I think he's ready to go to the ship as well. He's all packed up. He's ready. As Twin Shadows is going to be the second item for Kuro. And if you are unfamiliar with the Glacial Synergy items, it just makes champions who already deal obscene amounts of damage, or sometimes even true damage, depending on what it is. Most notably, Vel'Koz and Charles are really good Glacial item users. It just helps them control the flow of fights with their already obnoxious terrain morphing due to the nature of their abilities and just CC that they're able to bring. It just augments them so well. It's so much better than traditional AP items. Their low cooldowns, their spammable abilities, and how much impact that can end up being granted with it.
Yukal actually having trouble keeping up with Vel'Koz's wave clear. You can see Kuro is going to get first roam nearly every single time. So he's here on time. KT moving as a squad. Soan waiting down on the bottom side, clearing out the Krugs. And yeah, just waiting to see if they're going to pick up the Rift Heralds here. Does respawn for now after they used it down in the bottom side. Bono looking for another clean play. See if he's got it. There's the kick, and there it is. As easy as that. They've got a Tom Kents. They drop aggro. It just does not matter as flashing forward was aiming. Looked like it did go wide there. As Tarzan also flashed away as Irove nearly dies. Svaris just eats support Senna for breakfast.
Yeah. KT just continuing to accelerate further and further ahead. They're going to get Shirley here. Vel'Koz going to recall. Another really cool thing about these items is they're all very cheap. So very fast breakpoints are able to be met. Now on recall, interestingly, he actually doesn't pick up a Fiendish Codex, just getting more utility. So really big kick right into the pit. And then Lee Sin went to the ship.
Yeah.
Came back out, not sure if he's even the same man anymore.
The ship changes you, let me tell you.
It really does.
I've been. It's for better or for worse. Lee Sin experiencing there. We didn't get to see the follow-up, the flash out of aiming. He knows his damage ranges are pretty insane. So if he can flash and catch his squishy off guard, he might just be able to 100-0 them. So I was looking for that onto Tarzan. Mountain Soul, by the way, coming up here.
Mountain coming up in 1.5 minutes is also just fantastic for KT. For a team composition that wants to basically just sort of sit back and keep poking you, and once you're low enough, then the cannon pulls the trigger and goes in. Once he's granted access, then Mountain is so perfect for them. Even though the Vel'Koz and the Varus won't really get any resistances, it does make them a little bit tankier if you do manage to get onto them. Although the majority of the damage that comes out of Griffin is magic. So typically champions don't have a lot of magic resist compared to their armor. A little bit less valuable. As, I mean, this is just really nice. It's really nice to see Varus also starting to have his rise back to power in the LCK. Obviously, Aphelios and stuff are still very, very strong. We're not seeing Misfortune today.
Yeah.
As more poke, more siege, and greatly reluctant fighters are...
Oh, boy. How would you want to fight into that? I mean, the Azir basically doesn't exist just like that, although Aiming did take a healthy chunk of damage himself. But it's kind of methodical here. It's very much, you know, step by step for KT. Take one objective, move, take a turret, do it again, get a pick, take a turret,
do it again.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. We're going to have the Mountain Dragon. I mean, Griffin, they would not be wise to take this team fight. They could wait a little bit longer, wait for Ezreal to try to complete his Trinity Force, wait for second item, or wait for the recipe item on the Azir. Taking this team fight would not be a wise decision. Sword is up a level. Now, if they could find some sort of a miracle engage or just delete Vel'Koz immediately, then it would probably end up being fine. It looks like they're going to try to attack from the south, but this is going to give KT a phalanx, so it's very awkward to coordinate.
Sword's just going in there and hoping that his team will back him up, as he is incredibly tanky after all, but he is going to get downloaded and deleted on the backside. Someone told him to go, and he pressed the go button. Now looking for a play onto Soan. They're looking to trade it back, but he has flash. Yeah. That does mean that he can get away.
Then he lightning rushes away. Kuro has teleport available. Probably going to get Twin Shadows and recall back in. Yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing, taking the recall ward spot in his blue side jungle. And this is going to allow KT to maintain the phalanx. Griffin can't approach from this angle. Vel'Koz, too strong of a champion. Really happy to see it come out. It is such an underappreciated champ, but it's so hard to pilot.
Yeah, it truly is, but a guy like Kuro can do it. Trying to shift forward and get the engage there on a Kuro. Sword.
That was a multi-man sapling toss. And Soan can't find an angle in. Lots of... Whoa!
Say goodbye to your jungler. He's now got to go behind the
Sword
pit.
is trapped.
Yeah. He TP'd in, and, well, perhaps that wasn't the one, as somehow the Ezreal also died there on the backside. Just got deleted by Soan. It's looking pretty down in the dumps for this game number 3 for Griffin. So they're not feeling pretty good. They're actually getting perfect aimed right now. No turrets, no drakes, no kills. And KT are looking to continue their winning streak. Remember, 3 games in a row, 3 matches in a row. Could go to 4.
This might be a perfect game.
Might just be.
And this would be... What? I don't even know. The 4th? In LCK?
3rd or 4th?
I think it's going to be... The 4th potential perfect game here.
Yeah, we've had so many already. I mean, it's only the first round.
This is we're averaging almost 1 a week.
Yeah, that's insane.
That really is insane. All things considered.
Oh yeah, Thomas.
Take
that for his own.
Taking the crab to the ship.
Yeah.
As Sword again tries to go. No one can approach. Soan with slicing Maelstrom will just axe them off.
Yeah.
Like a Venn diagram in this team fight if they tried to approach. And UCal, he tries to get something done, but no one's there to follow up. Soan manages to flash Sword, trapped inside of the pit. And right here, I mean, twisting advances. Soan just finds a kill as well. This game is all but over.
Yeah.
As they're going. They're going to the ship.
They're going to the ship. Thomas Kent, he's got his hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
He's bringing him there, man. Captain is no longer Kuro. Tucson's showing him what's up. And with this poke comp, if you get Baron, it's pretty ridiculous what you can, you can do when you have Baron and you're sieging a turret. It's so hard for the enemy team to get even close.
Almost 10,000 gold lead at 22 minutes. This is absolute annihilation.
Yeah.
As the Blitzcrank not really working out here for Griffin.
No. It turns out having a strong navy is actually the best. It's actually the best thing to have. I mean, look at the British. They were really successful for a really long time. So just take note. And so did Tom Kent. Let's bring them all to the ship. Getting on there, we got battle cruisers.
Well, it does look like okay.
Trying to engage now with Sword, a bit of desperation, trying to wombo combo a bit, but he's gonna get deleted eventually. Goes down.
They just can't even approach.
Yeah, they can't even get close.
The Phalanx can't really be penetrated with how far behind Griffin is. And Vel'Koz, he will just, I don't even know.
Well,
evaporate everyone.
He's out of mana now. Viper thinking they were gonna retreat. That was not what they were deciding on doing. Until just now. They're going to take out 2 inhibitors and back. It's still pretty early on in the game. They want to back away with the insane amount of gold they must have in their pockets right now. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody's got like 2,000, 3,000 after that massive push. Go back, spend your gold, and move down, control the Drake, pick up Dragon Soul, and then win the game.
Let's take a look at the sapling toss into the team. No one is near Sword. And also, UCal gets locked up. UCal can't enter the fight. Nothing is possible in this engage. And again, Vel'Koz will just disintegrate anything that tries to walk near them. As Rabadon's Death Cap gonna be the 3rd item. And this is what we were talking about, that typically you pick up the glacial items and then you adapt relative to what is happening inside of the game. Death Cap gonna be fantastic for pushing, as well as just overall synergy with Vel'Koz's kit.
You can see Griffin are going to make one last
great
stand.
Mask on the side of Soan.
Yeah, looks like some players are learning slowly. Soan looking to flank here. Kind of an interesting bind they've got Griffin in. It's kind of like they herded them into the jungle, and they're saying, let's get poked by us. Now the hard engage does come in, but kicked out of the team. UCal gonna totally miss on the Emperor's Divide. But the Sand Turret is gonna come up here. Sun Turret is going to save them for now, save their lives, but it won't save the Dragon Soul from going the way of KT.
KT now with the Dragon Soul, the next fight is just gonna be that much easier. And honestly, the Emperor's Divide, it was like in the movies when the commander tries to tell like soldiers to advance and they're like, no. I'm good.
Yeah, we're gonna desert now. Not a part of this army anymore.
Take a look here. UCal summons the Sand Turret, and I think UCal was trying to push Sword away.
Oh, that's too mean.
That was the only target.
So he got locked up by chains of corruption, so
Yeah.
he was rooted, and he was like, just get the enemy away from me. And I think that was, I mean, it's really the only saving grace, right? Did not look good for sure. Big whiff. As it's kind of funny how they kill that blue every single time with Tom over the wall. And Tom is so good in these comps as well. Do you think he needs another nerf?
No. People need to pick correctly.
No, I think we need to nerf Tom again.
All right.
There was
One
no
more time.
devour. Griffin witnessed. No, I can't even say that without laughing. Well, Baron's up here in 3 seconds.
There is a world in which Griffin does win. And the way that would end up happening is if all of the computers do break simultaneously.
Oh, okay.
Chrono break not available. We don't have any spares backstage, and a rematch ends up happening due to some questionable voting.
Okay.
We could get a forced rematch. And
Due to some bad pathing?
Due to some bad pathing.
Yeah.
Due to the prison guards that are guarding the PCs.
Yeah, oh, okay. Makes sense. The prison guards guarding the...
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they would be.
Are we actually in a prison? Is that what's going on? Well, they're going to just take the Baron here. There's no real way for Griffin to do anything. Maybe True Shot Barrage would be the only way. He doesn't even have it available. And down it will go. Gonna smite that just in case.
It's really looking like we will get another perfect game, Valdez.
Yeah.
Unless everyone goes all in on trying to kill one member. I think that's probably going to be all that she wrote. Also, Tarzan with the Oblivion Orb pickup against Mountain Drakes and champions that already had magic resistance. Bit inefficient there. There's not really too much to talk about. We're just waiting for the inevitable push.
I told you he wanted to build Morel and Omicron.
Dread it, run from it. The ship still arrives.
Yeah, we don't have any dragons on the side of Griffin, so you can't burn the ships from the sky, even though they do have air control. And yeah, I mean, the entire jungle is going to be taken away from the side of Griffin. We got this nice little red line that's following Bono through the jungle. Okay, there you go. Going to be taken away as it's targeting the minions.
KT actually just taking this slow as possible. Teleport going deep by Maokai. Here he comes.
That's going to be a slow advance there. I feel like it was a little bit off target, actually. Here comes Bono from behind. He's chasing down Viper, slicing Maelstrom into the background as Yukal not able to do anything there in the back by himself. Tarzan going to survive. That's basically all he's done in this game is exist. And the double kill is going to go the way of Kennen, aiming, able to kite down the Maokai. Viper, he's looking to add some damage to his damage score.
Oh, I think they're going to go for him. Oh,
get him!
Oh.
You're going to the ship.
He's going to the...
Come with me. You must go to the ship.
Oh, to be continued in round 2 of the LCK.
That's where we go to the commercial break. It ends there. You guys don't get to see how that one ended up.
That's the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
For round 2.
You never know if you got to go to the ship. Thomas actually chased him down.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give the MVP to the Vel'Koz that game.
Okay.
As he made it pretty impossible. I know that Bono is probably gonna get it just for the early game, but
yeah, you know, I
he
was
could have
about
also
voting for him.
He could have achieved no kills and still would have won the game just because of the nature of the team composition. And I think that the Vel'Koz pick, as well as how it was piloted at certain points, was just really good. It was an integral part to why they were able to win. I'm trying to convince you.
I did not listen I did go for the Bono pick. Vel'Koz was good. Obviously, Kuro's Vel'Koz is always going to be on point. But I do think that Bono had quite the pop-off game on the Lee Sin. So I'm going to give that to him. Hirai is already giving them some coaching before they even get back to the team house to to go over the VOD. And whatever they've been doing, KT, has been working. They're on a 4-game win streak. They've turned things around. Game 1 was a bit of a fluke. I think they got caught out by that Lethality Varus a lot. And especially the poke bot lane with the double Arcane Comet with the Karma.
Yeah.
And that really just put them
Varus
too far behind, and
really,
then they were able to adjust pretty well against Griffin.
He just had such a nice resurgence in the LCK recently, and I hope that we do continue to see him overseas as well. I think he has flexibility in mid lane depending on certain matchups. There's also the mix-up that he can do with his runes. He doesn't always need to go Comet. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve. Overall, just really nice game number 3 for KT. Very big draft win. And Elise just getting pulverized today.
We had, I feel,
in very off-theme comps.
3 picks, Elise and then Renekton and then Elise. That 3 games in a row, it came in and we were just like, you know that face that you can make in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not an emote, but it's like the little, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. That's how he felt when we saw those picks, especially the red 5 Renekton pick.
Yeah, the R5 Renekton was
I don't know, I'm still scratching my head on that one. Maybe if he didn't get so far behind in the early game, but even then, I mean, against what he was going up against,
he has some viability against the enemy team comp because they're all melee and on top of him, but it's still just not as good as other picks, and that's the problem with it. It's like when you're trying to build like a trading card game deck and you don't have the best cards and you sort of like fill in something that's sort of on theme, but
yeah, it's like a decently
you still
high
lose
tier
to the
card.
guy that has the tier 1 deck.
Yeah. You kind of have that like uncommon that's not really played. It's like the budget version of what you really want to play.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's kind of what he looked like in that game, that Renekton.
And honestly, Sword, I don't know what he was doing this game, and it might feel like we're being very negative towards him. We're literally just narrating the play. There's nothing excusable about it. He had absolute vision every single time that he did things like this right here. You don't tell me that he can't see the champions and his teammates, because he absolutely can. This has nothing to do with just Maokai. What is he doing? It could be any player. It could be Faker.
Yeah.
On this, it just wouldn't matter. It is so perplexing. Now, obviously, in this highlight, they've already lost the game.
Yeah.
There's no coming back from this point. Just clearly getting tilted, probably emotionally influenced, or emotions influencing some of his decisions. Just a really slow and steady execution, as it was really KT just destroying Griffin in this game 3. And I think that between these two teams, the draft actually is really, 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 really important.
Oh, yeah.
When teams are somewhat similar, I think, in skill level, draft is going to be that much more meaningful.
테라드가 어디 있는지만 봐도
I can see
엄청 길어도 이거 할만해.
Behind us.
괜찮아.
It's okay.
앞으로 보다.
Get Maokai first.
아들 잡았어?
I got Azir, no flash. Maokai.
그냥 집 가자 이거 끝내자.
Let's go into their base. Let's end.
I believe the official translation is let's go to the ship.
Yeah.
There at the end, he said, let's go to the ship. And
does he want to die?
They did.
Oh, I think he said, do you want to die?
난 킬에 연연하지 않는다.
간다.
킬에 연연하도록
I'm going to.
이거 누가 끝냈어?
It's like, who hit the Nexus? Who was it?
KD에도 빵땡이고 10등이구만.
Kuro is not happy. Wow. At the end there. That
So
they hit the Nexus.
the Varus has an insane damage number
Yeah.
in this game. Dealt more than almost more than all of his teammates combined. So really close.
Yeah, and he's like 2,000 behind.
But we'll see who ends up actually getting the MVP. I feel like there's an argument for Bono. I voted for Kuro, and
Is there an argument for aiming?
yeah,
or is
well,
he just number 3?
I think he's number 3. Like, he did so much damage, but so many things are actually set up and manipulated by Vel'Koz.
Yeah.
So,
And Lee Sin. Let's make a list of the things that Bono did. He took Infernal, and he took Rift Heralds.
well, I'll do you one better. Kuro Mind Control Sword.
True, actually, that was more impressive. If you're able to mind control your enemy teammate or a player, it's pretty good stuff. But we are going to see in a couple of
Surprised
seconds.
the Men in Black aren't even just coming into the studio.
It is going to be Bono picking up his first player of the game, 1-0 and 6. Not a lot of damage, but doesn't really show what he did in the early game. 100% kill participation for all of it, but to be fair, there weren't that many kills in the early game. But he did set up a lot of the map plays. He got the gank down here after getting 2 objectives already. He was able to turn this into pushing the bottom lane, getting the turret. And then same thing here, he opens up, kills the Azir, allows them to push much easier. And he was kind of a very important part of the poke comp, actually, because he took out and made those squishy members of the enemy team vulnerable.
Yeah. So, they ended up winning this game. KT going to be feeling very good. I believe Griffin is in last place at the end of this.
You know? They might be.
I do believe that they...
Well,
I have it over here somewhere.
check our sheets quick.
Leak sheet.
Well, Sandbox and APK are 2 and 7. Griffin now 2 and 7. So there's 3 teams at 2 and 7. How
And
is the
we're gonna-
indicator? Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Griffin in 10th place. 5 losses in a row. So they were 2 and 2 and looking okay. I remember that they were there in like 5th place or something, and ever since then, it's just been a landslide of defeats straight in a row. So pretty unfortunate to see for Griffin and their fans that they're not able to put it together so far here.
And honestly, this Griffin, it's not flying high anymore. This one has been roosted.
It was roosted?
That's a word.
Or it roosted? I think roost is like a self-inflicting
Roost is a verb.
verb. You know what I mean? Like, I roosted.
What if you get mind controlled by Vel'Koz?
Then, I mean, it's not really in your control, right? So, guys, I don't think we actually have that much time because there's no interview. There's no other match today. If you're joining right now...
We don't know when we'll be back.
Yeah, you might be surprised, but because of the coronavirus epidemic right now, we are pausing for now at the end of round 1. We've done 45 matches. We have 90 total for each split. So we have 45 more.
Wow. That's
And,
actually, yeah.
Yeah. So when we come back, hopefully that'll mean that we'll start round 2 and then finish round 2 straight into playoffs. And not sure exactly how that's going to work, if we're going to have exactly the same format. Obviously, so many details to be worked out, but thanks for joining us for now. We will see you the next time we come back, whenever that is. Check Twitter. We'll let you know. Until then, good night.